real rep, raw. We're going off the top of the dome talking about Ahsoka episode 6 once again. So let's just skip past all the introductions and all the other good stuff and just get right to the episode. We mix in and wax on, wax off. So basically, I really enjoyed this episode, or I should say I medium enjoyed this episode. There's a lot of good stuff in this episode. Of course, we're going to talk about Thrawn, so let's do that right now. Grand Admiral Thrawn walked in like a boss with his blue skin on. He's a little older, so he's got a little bit of a dad bod. However, that's normal. I don't understand why people would expect him to look like he was in tip-top shape. I'm sure even Baylan has put on a few pounds since he left the temple. So it's not like people don't get older in Star Wars. I mean, look at the way Kenobi aged. He was once 30, and then the next time you see him, he's 70. It doesn't make sense, but I like to remind myself. These are, in fact, aliens. And they give me exactly what I wanted from this show, which is not saving Thrawn to the end. We actually not only get him before the last episode, but he's right there front and center within, I guess, like the first 15 minutes. We get him in the beginning. He establishes himself. And now we're talking with Thrawn, and he's just a normal part of the show now. The way that Dave Filoni and them handled it wasn't just like this big tease all episode. A lot of people, myself included, kind of guessed that around 5 or 6 was where we would see Thrawn. But what I was surprised about was the fact that Ezra showed up in this episode. I actually thought Ezra was going to be the one to show up at the very last episode in the last 5 seconds. He was going to kind of turn around just like Luke did in episode 8 and like throw the lightsaber over his shoulder and be like, I never wanted to be a Jedi. But I'm glad that didn't happen. But back to Thrawn. Lars Mikkelsen is actually doing a really good rendition of Thrawn, better than the rendition of Sabine that's been given to us in the show. And I make that comparison because this is a Dave Filoni product. And because it's a Dave Filoni product, I'm really unsure how the actress is catching all the heat when Dave Filoni is the person who created Sabine, and now he's writing Sabine into the show completely different than the way she was in the cartoon, but somehow it's the actress's fault. Make it make sense. So anyway, we meet up with Thrawn, and he's just as tactical as he's always been. He speaks slowly, he sits and he waits, and you can tell that he's thinking, he's strategizing. As soon as Morgan informs Thrawn that they have a prisoner, actually I think it was one of the witches that informed him, he sits there, he kind of thinks, he considers, and once he talks to Baylan, who actually has a reason for why he brought Sabine, and once he talks to Morgan, who tells Thrawn that it's Sabine Wren, you can see him slowly considering what information he just received, and now he's already putting together a strategy. This is like classic Thrawn 101. Thrawn is a tactician. He wants to learn your art, your science, your history, everything that makes you you. He wants to use all those things to strategize against you. And he actually just flat out says that towards the end of the episode when he's explaining why he let Sabine go find Ezra. When he finds out that Ahsoka is still alive, because in his mind, I know you said he's dead, but you haven't seen a body. Let's just assume that she's still alive, which is exactly a Thrawn thing to do. And also, it's just kind of flat out wisdom. He actually mentions the fact that, yeah, Jedi tend to come back. They tend to resurrect a little bit. Because you're a witch, I'm pretty sure that you're familiar with this concept. We pretty much get exactly who we paid for it, which is awesome. I don't know how much you guys pay, but Disney Plus is going up a little bit. Thank you for getting the blue skin right.
This is Enoch.
Enoch, or Enoch. However Thrawn said it. That dude is dope. I'm really hoping that they don't do that classic Star Wars thing where they feel like they need to connect every single character to someone else. On his own, Enoch is dope. He has a really cool golden stormtrooper mask, fresh out of Zales or wherever you get pimped out stormtrooper mask. I don't know where you would purchase that. You can kind of tell that the reason why he's Thrawn's right hand man is because he's as tactical as Thrawn is. So it's a really good fit. Like they're kind of working hand in hand and kind of working out of the same brain. Speaking of brains and the rest of the stormtroopers that are on that ship that Thrawn has, because obviously he was shipped off with the ship with the space whales. The theory I've heard about those stormtroopers, similar to Merrick who turned into that mist when Ahsoka got him, all those stormtroopers might be mist ghost things as well, including Enoch. I think Enoch actually might be like some reincarnated general. Thrawn's been out there for a long time, and so have those stormtroopers. What does it look like for all those stormtroopers to last as long as they have out there for years? And none of them rebelled, none of them got out of line, none of them branched off and tried to start their own thing after years of being on this planet. If all of the stormtroopers got together and tried to kill Thrawn, besides the fact that they can't aim for shit, I'm pretty sure that they would probably be successful, or if they just decided to leave. It's not like he could stop them. Ezra with the Bezzy, he has a full beard now, looking like Jesus Cristo out on that planet hanging out with the turtle people. As soon as I met like the first turtle dude, I was really kind of concerned because I always get weary of the creature who is like this naive nuisance who's just messing around, because they seem to add those kind of characters to almost every show now, where there's just this one creature who gets into a lot of hijinks and now you gotta rescue him and stuff like that. But my fears are kind of like halted because I saw that, they had. Oh, by the way, my man's turtle suit, the suit inside the show, he was kind of flying there. He had that shit on, if you will. He had the whole community of other turtles, which for some reason kind of made me feel a little bit better and also kind of gave me Ewok vibes. It was actually really good to see Ezra. I'm kind of curious to see what he's been up to in all these years. Obviously, he's grown up and grown older as well, but it also doesn't seem like he's been really doing much of anything. And of course, there could be a backstory where he's gone on several missions and fought against Thrawn several times. But I also kind of find it weird that these two ended up on this planet together and they seem to be just living apart amicably. It just seems like, hey man, you stay on your side of the planet, right? Right? You stay on your side of the planet and I'm going to be over here because we stranded out here. You still feel like fighting? I don't feel like fighting. You want to do the supremacy thing? I mean, if you want, I'm just going to grab my stuff and I'm going to head out. And Thrawn's like, I lost. So it's really no reason for me to still be here. All right, man, I'll see you later. It's not like Thrawn didn't know exactly where Ezra was. He basically gave Sabine the map and said, oh, we think he's over here. But if Thrawn really wanted to find Ezra, I'm pretty sure he could. I don't think that it would have been that difficult. I didn't talk about every single thing that happened in the episode because those are really like the two highlight things. Can talk a little bit about the beginning of the episode where the most important part of the episode was, which is space whales, my nigga. Like space whales. Right? We open up the episode with space whales because the space whales are the backbone of Star Wars. Without the space whales, let me tell you more about the space whales. Space whales give us this vibe of eternal life.